Buenos dias. I would just like to talk about my, I'm calling it narcissism, but I'm realizing that like the brain and the mind and the spirit are so lucid that we kind of fluctuate in and out of states of mental disorders, personality disorders by the hour, day, week. So it's kind of hard, but like I look back at a lot of my behaviors and relationships, and I'm like, yeah, that checks out. So I call it narcissism, but like could be not, I don't know, sometimes bipolar or like borderline personality disorder. Definitely had pretty aggressive OCD when I was younger. Yeah. So anyway, I'll just keep this fairly short, but I would just like to kind of throw this out because I'm realizing that this disorder or this type of mind has been demonized, and it's this throwaway comment people use to hate on people they feel have abused them. And whilst that might be true, there's an underlying thing here that I've kind of done some self excavating on, and I understand it in a different way now. So I just like to throw my 2 cents in, and I hope that I can come at it from like a fairly vulnerable place. I'm saying it from my own perspective, having had that mind, and you can see if it rings true or if you think I'm just full of lies or what. But I think before we just like go out attacking everyone and saying we're all narcissists, like there is an underlying issue here, and I think it's one of love and connection. And I'm not saying I'm there either. It's just I see what the problem is. So yeah, I think I just like to say we're all here to love. We're all here to love each other and connect, and we're all going about that in our own unique ways, using the tools that we've been given from childhood. And some of us get some not so great tools and then don't quite know what love really is, but still go about trying to receive it, and it looks more like validation and control. So yeah, I've just written like acknowledging my narcissism, what my traits were, and then how I've gone about healing it. And I'll probably, to be honest, I'll do a longer video, but I'd just like to throw this out that like, yeah, I've had a lot of dysfunctional relationships, very unstable mood over the years, just like up, down, not a strong sense of self-worth, like feeling the need to be deeply validated all the time, not being able to connect with people emotionally, having like supercharged intense emotions, especially at the beginning of relationships, and then getting bored and like just wanting to turn away. And it's like this real push pull. I want people close but not too close, and then if they do, I like feel ill at the thought of it. And I think underneath all of this is just like I really felt this deep self-hatred. Yeah, and just that inability to like give and receive love. So yeah, I think basically I started to really wake up to it within the last couple of years. I just got a few like heavy messages from people after pretty intense breakups, friendships, partners, like casual flings, and yeah, they're just, I don't know, I've read them back, and the deeper I get into my emotions, the more I really understand what they're saying. But for a while, I'd look at that, I'd read what they were saying, and I'd just like scoff or belittle them, get angry, be like, well, that's your fault. Like, it's really not good. So yeah, it really, I'll just go through like some symptoms, and maybe just like a few high level ones. But really it was like at the same time feeling above everyone and below them. I think the underlying is that I feel low self-worth, and so to compensate for that, it's like I put everything into competition, and I put myself on a pedestal and knock people down all the time. And it was just like comments, insulting, yeah, just being manipulative and exploitative, and uh, yeah, using people, having bad, low empathy, um, very like self-destructive behaviors, and then like bringing people into that orbit as well. So just a lot of like, yeah, drinking, drugs, sex, just whatever. I mean, like, I think I want to go into all of that in another video. But yeah, just restlessness and a lack of peace. I think that's the underlying thing, and all the rest of it comes with the territory. Yeah, but how I've healed it. I think so. I've lived in my cabin up in North Wales for about 8 months now, and until recently I was just cycling everywhere, and I basically quit my old life. I was becoming like a fairly competent business management consultant, or whatever you want to call it, and yeah, it was just wrapped up in this whole world of like money and ambition and status, which kind of goes part and parcel with what I was with the disorder, if I assume I have that. Yeah, so I mean, it was interesting. Like a year ago, I was like reading up about narcissism. It's covert narcissism I have, which is like, I think introversion and also being narcissistic. So it's like feeling like God on the inside, and like looking around at people like, you're so worthless. I'm sorry, this is just how my brain had been working for a while. And also needing their validation. So just performing. Oh, it's really not good. It's not good. It's just like performing at life, lying to everyone and to yourself mainly. So yeah, anyway, I was researching into it, and also I was listening to Arnold Schwarzenegger's book, and he was just like encouraging all of the symptoms. he was like, make as much money as possible, and go after high status jobs, and when you are going after, sorry, I can say, make as much money, like really just go for it in life, like push people aside if they're not up to your standards. And I was like, this is describing the disorder. So I was thinking like, society is pretty much like geared towards being narcissistic anyway, so it's like, if you're born with it, you're in for a rough ride. Yeah, and other people are as well around you, which is important to say. But anyway, I found God and Jesus, and Jesus has helped me out so much. Yeah, taken me to some pretty like not so fun places, but I've really needed to visit them so they can be healed. But yeah, and then just living like the slow life, like in nature. Been working on a farm. I was doing litter picking for the council. Now I'm packing boxes in a little factory. Just eating well. I sit in front of the fire a lot, and I use candles, and I'm just have my little yoga prayer mat thing, and sometimes I'll just lie here and do nothing, like literally nothing. Yeah, and then also just like stopping sinning. Sinning actually goes hand in hand with narcissistic behaviors, so that was quite easy. It was like, oh, I just stopped those. Yeah, so I have, but I've had to white knuckle, like willpower my way through a lot of them. Yeah, and it's even trivial things like stopping swearing, or like not drinking too much coffee, having self-control, or being on your own and just learning to love your own mind and presence, and when things happen, good and bad, learning to either validate or comfort yourself with no other people around. That's been massive. In fact, I've kind of gone a little bit too far with that, and I'm like, I don't need anyone. So that's not good either. But it's better than the and trying to apologize. That's a complicated thing because I've done it in the past and it's been deeply insincere and I've really hurt people. So I'm just trying to like know how to. Also, like, my empathy is quite impaired. I've really felt that. I have to like deliberately and almost methodically get into a space where I can receive emotions, but it just feels tiring. Like, I have got there now, which is quite cool actually. Like, if you get me at the right time of day in the right space, it's like I can be as vulnerable as anyone. But I can almost like immediately retreat into my shell, and then like it's just like screw you, I don't want to be here, like leave me alone. And I'm like, it's a bit wild really. So yeah, but yeah. And then therapy as well. Therapy, I'm just gonna say this on therapy because people had said it to me for a few years and I was being so proud, like, I'm not doing that, I don't need it. And then I started my first session and it was just like verbal diarrhea. And I think I didn't stop speaking for like 10 sessions. And I just remember like I ran out of words and I sat there in silence and I just said, like, I don't think I have anything else to say. And then I thought, I feel better though. So, yeah, I just realized, like, and I look back at everything I had been saying. Most of it was complete junk, and it all came out sideways, and didn't make any sense whatsoever. But I think it was just the process of processing, of being able to have someone receive what you were saying. And I'm so sure she wasn't listening half the time. She must have been thinking about her dinner, that her dog needs walking, that she's got another client tomorrow, probably, but it didn't matter. So, and that was really cool for me as well, because I'm like, oh, I can just sit in silence with people whilst they offload, and I don't really need to say anything. I just need to give them like my physical space and like hopefully a warm smile and a hug, and then they feel better. And it's like, oh, that's such a trick. I've spent my whole life fixing people, not myself. When they vent, like, girlfriend comes home and she's like just complaining about her colleague, and I'm like, oh, what you want to do is like, well, let's write a plan. And she's like, screw you, I'm just talking about my day. And then we have an argument. It's like, oh, like, all we ever want to do is just like, it's like we just have like a, you know, like a cache on a computer. It all just gets clogged up here, and it's just like the act of speaking to someone is just like, and then at the end of it, you're like, I'm good. And the words didn't mean anything, nor did they matter, nor did they need a solution. They just needed to come out. But I think what I'm saying is, like, if the cache gets clogged, and it gets clogged for like years, decades even, it just like it corrupts the whole system. And I think that's what had happened. So now, like, feel alright. I've definitely got like some residue of bad thoughts and thinking and stuff, but I do feel way more loving and like not impulsive, not being in a relationship or like being intimate or anything with anyone for 8 months, and that's really good. It's positive. Yeah, so It is treatable. It really is. It's just like brain went in a different direction for a little bit, and like it can come back. It's just like needs to be seen and heard and cared for. I think that's it really. So anyway, well done for making it to the end, and I'll probably post another video. I'm just trying to like be a bit more brave with this stuff and say it out loud. Say the thing out loud that we're all thinking. I hope, or some of us are. And if you're also thinking like, hang on, I think I might be a bit narcissistic. It's like, it's all right. Don't listen to everyone that's screaming at you saying like, you're an evil narcissist. It's like, your brain's just broken. You maybe when you were younger, you didn't get you weren't seen in the right way, and then your computer system came up with like a backup function in order to receive the love that you need by like mining it from the world using like manipulation or like fear tactics and bullying and stuff. It's not great, I know, but it's like I think the system can't function without it, so it's like have to go and get it somehow. Anyway,